Aloha and welcome to another episode of the Hawaii Food and Farmer Series. Thanks for joining us every Thursday. If you're not at your computer or TV, you can join us at Think Tech Radio. You can always join the conversation on Twitter at Think Tech High. Just a reminder, the series purpose is to bring on farmers and all other folks, distributors, chefs, restaurants, etc., that are all part of our local food system on Hawaii. Today is a special episode because over here on Oahu we have another guest from Maui. So we're really going all over the state here, which is really exciting. Really quickly,
all over.
all over. But really quickly, I want to, if you join us on Twitter, we have next week's guest has posted. This is Kona Coast Organics that will be joining us from the Big Island, another island.
Now we are going all over.
Yeah. So they are doing a fundraiser. So be sure to check it out on Twitter and see the link that they posted and learn more about them next week. So I am your co-host, Justine Spiritu. This is my co-host, Matthew Johnson. And now you can introduce our guest.
Right on. Thanks, Justine. So, as always, we have fabulous guests. And as Justine said, we have a guest all the way from the island of Maui, Steve Phillips, who is the CEO of Local Harvest, is going to be talking about what he's been doing on Maui, but also talking about his past experience working with Down to Earth and also a lot of sustainable agriculture organizations. So Steve, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thank you.
Great to have you. And yeah, we started emailing and calling each other maybe, 4 or 5 months ago. And we're doing similar work, talking with farms and helping move their product from the farm to different businesses. So yeah, before we get into that, just give us a little background on you. I know you said you had moved to Maui just over 9 years ago.
9 years.
And just give us a little background on how you ended up to be with Local Harvest.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up on a farm in southern Illinois, and we were pretty much self-reliant in many ways. We grew our own food, and we even had our own gas tank there at the farm. So we didn't have to go out and buy a lot of stuff, you know. And I kind of got used to that idea, you know, that you can be self-reliant even on a small scale, you know. So as I grew up, I tried to get involved in more organizations that had that idea of sustainability and self-reliance. And I got involved in one organization called PROUT, which is the Progressive Utilization Theory, which really pushes a cooperative-based economy and local self-reliance and neo-humanism, which is basically taking care of the planet, you know, the earth and the plants and the animals, as well as people. You know, so it goes beyond humanism. So that inspired me also to do some concrete work on the planet to move us towards more self-reliance. And I kind of decided to focus in on food. You know, energy is important too, and we need that. We can only do so much.
Right.
So focus on food. And I did a lot of that work in Colorado. I started a couple of co-ops there and focused those businesses on getting as much local food from the farms to the customers. And then from there, I got a call from Down to Earth.
Okay.
Actually on Oahu, and they wanted to interview me to work at their stores because I had experience starting stores.
They found you in Colorado? And
well, I found them
Okay.
first. I sent them I found an email, or not an email, but an ad on Craigslist.
Okay.
And I said, well, let me check it out, you know, it's on Maui. And
Yeah.
the ad was playing in Colorado, you know.
Oh, wow.
So I sent my resume, not expecting to hear anything back. And they did contact me, and then eventually brought me out for an interview. And of course, when about 3 months later, they said, you have the job. And that was on Oahu, but eventually that got transferred to Maui
Okay.
at their Kahului store.
Was this a store manager position or a produce
Trainee
manager?
for store management.
Okay.
And of course, I didn't have to do much convincing for my wife to move to Maui, so that worked out. My wife and daughter. So I would work for about a year for Down to Earth, and it worked out pretty well. But we kind of came to a point where they weren't getting their goals met. I was not getting my goals met. I wanted to do more focus on local food, and that wasn't happening enough for me. So an opportunity came up to work at one of the farms called Kapalua Farm in Maui on the west side. And so I worked there for a couple of years. And they brought me there to be the farm manager because I had farm experience growing up on a farm and everything.
Yeah.
But it turned out that they need more help doing marketing and working some with other farms and just getting the product sold, because they were producing a lot of product, but it wasn't getting sold.
Right.
And part of that was the organic pineapple from Kapalua Farms.
Yeah.
And so I sold pineapple all over all the islands, organic pineapple.
Yeah.
That's great. Good fringe benefit to have organic pineapple.
Yeah, I'm sure it's super popular.
I have to go out in the field and test it,
Yeah. The hard parts of the job.
Yeah. So then that farm turned into We Farm, which was started by the Ulupono initiative.
Yeah, okay.
So I worked there for a year or so. And then they decided that that farm was not for them, so they gave it up. And from there, I didn't have a job. So I thought, well, I know pretty much what the needs are on Maui, for the customers. And I knew a lot of the farmers. And I had a van.
All right.
Famous words. I knew the farmers and I had a van. Sounds like a business idea.
Actually, it was my wife's van.
Oh, even better.
Even you have a van.
Even better. You got yourself a driver.
So I traded her my car for the minivan.
Yeah.
And said, well, I could probably get 50 cases of produce in here.
Yeah.
Took out all the seats. And we a friend of mine had an orchard near Napili, and it was all citrus, and it was a bumper crop, all kinds of citrus, orange, tangerines, grapefruit, pomelos, lemons. So we just went to work, started picking it all, and distributing it, calling all the customers, and got it all sold.
Well, who were these customers? These were grocery stores or just neighbors or?
Mostly natural food stores and restaurants. Yeah, because I dealt with a lot of them already.
You've already been working with them before from the organic,
From the other organic
pineapple
farms.
and okay.
Yeah.
And so this was product you were bringing to them that otherwise would just be falling in people's backyard?
A lot of
Or-
it. Yeah. It happens, I mean, there's a lot of food out there
Yeah.
that doesn't get utilized, and we're preventing as much of that as we can.
So you started with the van and you're working with a few farms, getting this bumper crop of citrus. And what, kind of where did it go from there? So obviously the stores you're working with, are happy about it, and obviously the farms that you're working with. So you're kind of in this, logistical in-between guy and kind of making the connection happen between the farm and the final markets. Now, did you, at that point, before you started, did you know where you wanted to go with this, or did you just kind of tried it out and then you had some success and then like, okay, let's keep trying it? What was your strategy from the beginning?
Well, it's kind of hard to say, but I guess because of my background and my belief, that I thought, definitely I want to get as much food, local food as possible and get it distributed. So that was there.
Yeah.
Whether I had a business plan in mind to do that,
Right.
probably not.
Yeah.
But after maybe 6 months or so, 6 months to a year, it looked like, well, maybe this could work. And I didn't have any money when I started, but it just kind of, the money came as we did the business.
Yeah.
And each time we got enough, we bought another van.
Okay.
Ended up with 2 more vans, and at this point we have 2 large refrigerated trucks,
Oh, nice.
2 vans, and I have a kind of an informal partner that has a couple of refrigerated
Okay.
vehicles that we can use, or that he uses every week for us.
That's a lot of vans. You have one van?
This isn't about me.
I'm just trying to think of So
Way to call me out in front of all of our fans.
I didn't think there was that
His van
much.
is beautiful, though.
Yeah.
Great.
It is a
His
pretty
van's
van.
great. It's a great van. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put all the pieces together. Just
Yeah, we
trying
can
to
tell.
compare.
We can tell. Put them together a little bit more quietly.
I just didn't think. I mean, I'm amazed to hear that there is that much demand for that you need 5 vans, that there's so much product you're picking up from all over.
Yeah, well, it just kept growing, year after year. And, we grew from anywhere from 15 to, last year we grew 36%. And we distributed 700,000 pounds of produce
Oh, wow.
to stores, restaurants, and through farmers market.
And then, so again, this is farmers you're working with and just backyard farmers?
Yes.
Is it that mix?
Everybody that wants our help.
Yeah.
And, for the most part, we've been able to sell everything that people want to bring to us. There's times when, the quality's not so great or whatever, so we can't sell it, or we might have to refuse it.
Yeah.
But we try to accept everything that we think we can move. And it's sometimes very difficult to get enough to meet the demand on certain items, especially during the season, off seasons for certain items. But this last year, we had quite a bit of produce, mostly citrus, I guess, that was overabundant. It's just a huge year for citrus, maybe because of all the rain or something.
Yeah.
And we couldn't sell it all. We had to halt it from coming in, some of it.
Yeah.
And hopefully they found other markets. But that doesn't happen very often.
And is that where you kind of feel as part of the niche that you're feeling is helping as the supply goes down or the demand goes up, trying to help regulate? Obviously, if there's not enough markets for all the product that's coming in, then that's kind of your role then to really look out, and that's kind of a reason why you're here on Oahu right now, like looking at other potential markets, but then helping with that regulation of supply to market.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like a lot of the farms, they want to know, what should I grow? What does the market need?
Yeah.
And we're in a pretty good position to let them know. And we're not big like some of the large produce distributors, but we have a pretty good idea what is wanted in local produce. And we'll tell the farms, we have a wish list that changes from time to time.
Yeah.
And, it's tricky, you try to get the farm to grow something, and you probably ought to try 2 or 3 farms to grow that item, because there's a high failure rate in growing.
Of just trying new things.
Well, just new things, but also it's difficult to grow on the islands.
Right.
So many
What are
things.
some things that have been on the wish list that maybe you realize, oh, maybe we can't do that on Hawaii, or the opposite, that it surprised you, like no one was doing it, and you guys asked a couple farmers and something was successful?
Yeah. Well, one thing that was successful was cherry tomatoes, multicolored cherry tomatoes. I asked one farmer, he came to me and said, what should I grow? And he actually went out and did it, and he was bringing us 200 or 300 pounds of cherry tomatoes a week.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. All different colors, beautiful. Unfortunately, some things came up in his life that he moved back to the mainland, so we don't have that supply anymore. But we have a supplier on Oahu, which helps us.
Yeah.
And
But you also have the ability now too, though, if another farm were to show up, or another farm that you're currently working with, you say, hey, this worked really well for this guy with proven track record.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for someone to jump right into that.
And there are a couple of farms now working on that. They've already planted the product, and
Great.
it takes 2 or 3 months, but
Yeah.
should be coming through. But some of the things that we have had a hard time getting are various kinds of squashes, like butternut, acorn. What can we get? The only thing that we can get in squashes is kabocha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any other kind of squash would be great. Let's see, yellow beans is hard to get enough of. We have one grower, but it's off and on. multicolored carrots, rainbow carrots. We have a pretty good supply right now, but we've rarely had enough of those. And let's see what else. That'll come to me.
Okay.
There's a list of about 20, 25 items.
And some of the things that, I mean, I've seen, because I've actually seen the list that you sent over to us of some of the items that you have. And like there's a lot of, especially on the tropical fruit side of things, it seems there's a lot more variety on Maui that you have access to. Everything from the strawberries and different citrus. But why don't we get into that right after we come back from a commercial?
Sure.
Great. We'll be right back.
Aloha, how you doing? I'm Gordo the Tech Czar, here on Think Tech Hawaii, where we co-host Hibachi Talk, where we talk about technology and bring in all kinds of cool guests. Also, my co-host with me today is
Andrew the security guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Think Tech Hawaii, and thanks for watching Hibachi Talk. We also have Angus.
And you there, lad. It's Angus. I bring in all kinds of wee things. Oh, look, you see my lips moving.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. My name is Anu Hittel, and I host a show, Climate Change Beyond Outrage. In it, we go beyond outrage to look at solutions to climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. Join me every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time. See you then.
Aloha and welcome back for the second segment of Hawaii Food and Farmers series, where we bring on farmers and distributors and chefs and everyone in between who is a part of our local food system here across the island. Because today's guest is from Maui, so we are just all over the place. I am your co-host, Justine Espiritu, and next to me is my co-host, Matthew Johnson, and next to Matt is Steve, who is the CEO, president of Local Harvest over on Maui. So thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
So we were just kind of started talking about some of the different products maybe that are available on the island of Maui. We're talking about some of like the fruits and stuff. You want to talk about just some of the variety that you're seeing that maybe isn't available on Oahu, or just some of the things that Maui is really known for?
Okay. A lot of these things that we get are just on very small quantities, and we can only supply a limited number of customers. Like soursop would be one, or cherimoyas, chicos, which are also called sapodillas.
I don't know what any of those
We
are.
got dragon fruit. We have a dragon fruit farm. You don't know what those are?
I know dragon fruit, but I don't think I know those last three.
Yeah, we have a dragon fruit farm there. It's
That's
really cool.
amazing.
We need to have examples out here
Yeah,
for
we need a picture
Yeah,
up
I
there.
think so. So yeah, there's a pretty good variety. I mean, the bigger quantities are in like oranges and tangerines and lemons, limes, things like that. But what are some other?
So then the idea of some of those things you just named that you said are small quantities, then maybe that doesn't necessarily have the opportunity yet to be exporting that to other markets outside of Maui yet?
Actually, the cherimoyas we have sent to Oahu. Yeah, there's a pretty good supply of that.
Oh.
And persimmons is another one.
Okay.
Those are really tasty.
Yeah.
You have those on Oahu?
Every now and then, but it's rare that you see it.
Yeah, there's a couple of big persimmon farms on
Okay.
Maui.
Oh.
Yeah, we can send you some.
Yeah, I would love some. So talk a little bit about like how you have some vans and you're building up your markets and you're kind of working with your suppliers. Like talk a little bit about your growers. Like, is there a process that a grower needs to go through to become working with you? And what are some of the advantages of working with you versus another, say a larger wholesaler, or just delivering the product themselves directly?
Yeah. Well, last year we sold or bought from 100 growers plus.
Wow.
And we're very easy to work with. The most recent one we got was last week, and she said she couldn't believe how easy we were.
Nice.
So that was good. And we try to make it easy for the farm and easy for the customer, and then put it all together.
Yeah.
So all they have to do is give us a call, tell us what they have, send us their business name, address, email, phone number, and we'll put them in our account and start placing orders. And if they can let us know every week what's available, then that's ideal.
Right.
You know, there aren't that many that do that, but when that happens, because we pre-sell everything, you know, we don't keep anything in stock. It's all picked to order.
Yeah.
We get the orders from the customer, and then we buy it from the farm. They deliver it to us. We pack it, deliver it the same day.
Okay.
And so then what kind of platform are you using to take that order? Does that just mean writing you an email, sending you a text message, calling you on the phone? And that communication of the farmers telling you what they have, and then you communicating that to the different outlets?
Yeah, let me start with that. We get a good idea of what the farmer has, you know, whether they call us or not, just because we know what they've been growing and what they had last week, kind of thing. So we put that together on our price list. Like, we have a column that's the available column, and we send that out twice a week.
Twice a week?
For each order cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. And then stores, restaurants, whoever, manufacturers, we sell to a few. We'll look at that list and choose what they need. And then right now it's either, the preferred way is by email.
Okay.
And we have an order email, which is orders.localharvest@outlook.com. But if they don't want to do that, they can text us or give us a call.
And how is that managing 100 suppliers, giving you that information?
Well, it's not 100 suppliers every week.
Okay,
You
that's
know,
just
throughout the year, because a lot of things are seasonal.
Right.
And some are small time things where it's a backyard thing and we only got it 3 times during the year, whatever. But it's a little tricky. Once we get all the orders, it doesn't really take that long because we do a lot of texting, you know? And we have a spreadsheet where we consolidate all the orders. We know exactly what we need. We know which farms we're going to get it from. At least we know the preferred farm. If they don't have it, we'll go to the second or the third or the fourth. And we'll text them, and hopefully they'll let us know that they have it or they don't, and they're going to bring it on time. And it's always a challenge.
So it's a two-way thing. The farmers are telling you, here's what I have this week, or you're kind of predicting it, and then you send that list out, but you also have the buyers saying, I want this. So then you're also routing back to like, okay, they want this. It sounds like a lot of work on your part.
It's a lot of coordination.
Yeah.
Well, I did it all myself for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
But last year I delegated that to one of our good workers, Morgan is his name. And so he took a load off my shoulders.
And there's no website for it. It's just like an internal, or with your network of folks. It's just
We're
an
working
email
on
chain.
a website thing where they can order online. And a lot of the order processing would be more automated. We don't quite have that set up yet, maybe in a few months.
Are you? Yeah, so that was a question I had when he mentioned he met you. There is a national network called Local Harvest
Yes.
that does something similar?
They're a nonprofit that coordinates a lot of farmers market type things and CSAs.
Yeah, it's a little bit different where it's more of a nonprofit network of just kind of communicating what's out there. And then, but they also do the software we were talking about before, specifically for CSAs. So that's kind of more of what they're doing. Yeah.
Did they steal your name? Or did
No.
they just want to ride on the coattails of your success? So they're like,
No,
"Oh,
they
we're
didn't
gonna-"
steal my name. But we did it separately. When I came up with our name before I knew they existed.
Oh, they already
And then it was already a year or two down the road. And
Right.
I don't know if I want to change my name now.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about the business swap. You're set up now as an LLC, and you're talking about, but really a lot of what you're doing is working cooperatively with these farms. Talk a little bit about your thought process behind that and how you structure things.
As far as a cooperative or
Or
the
just
way we do it now?
the way you do it now.
Oh, okay. Well, right now the business it's owned by my wife and I, and we have 6 primary employees. We're starting a profit sharing plan this year.
Oh, wow.
And we have discussed the idea of making a worker-owned cooperative, which was in my mind when we began the business. So we're looking at different ways that might happen.
Yeah.
But for now, we're going to at least start the profit sharing.
Okay.
I have a question. Excuse me. So worker-owned would be different from farmer-owned, right? This worker-owned would mean your employees,
Yes.
not necessarily the farmers.
Right.
Okay.
But I had also looked into starting farm cooperatives.
Okay.
And we almost did that a couple of times, but then certain things came in the way, and it didn't happen. As far as the land being available was one of the main things. But I'd like for more of those things to happen. I think having a cooperative-based economy based on more local, you know, would really benefit the islands in all ways, you know, all sectors. So I want to help start some pilot projects or examples of how that can work. So that's one of my goals also.
Cool. And I also saw too online that there's some other like a sustainable, I don't know if it was sustainable upcountry Maui, but some nonprofits that you're involved with as well. How does that tie in with some of these other projects that you're looking into?
Well, I was a co-founder of Upcountry Sustainability.
Okay.
And also the founder of West Maui Sustainability. Well, it's just helping to coordinate a local food movement, I guess is the way it could connect. But when I moved from Upcountry to West Maui, I wasn't so involved in the Upcountry Sustainability project. But they work with the Upcountry Farmers Market also, and help promote that. And we have a farmers market on the west side called the Napili Farmers Market. And that keeps building and building, and people are so excited about it.
Yeah.
And we sell a lot of our produce there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a weekly market?
Twice a week.
Twice, and you're there twice a week, or your crew is there?
Not the whole crew, but we have 3 of us that run that market. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lot of work to do 2 markets a week. I can't get over that.
Well, it's just the fun part.
Yeah, it is.
I don't want to give
It's
it up,
getting-
you know.
getting
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm curious, from being in all different parts of the business, of which one you kind of prefer and like, or like the best. I'm sure you like them all. But we're going to take a quick break really fast and then get right back to it.
Aloha, I'm Kaui Lucas, host of Hawaii is My Mainland, here on Think Tech Hawaii every Friday at 3 p.m. We address issues of importance for those of us who live here on the most isolated landmass on the planet. Please come join me Fridays at 3 p.m. Mahalo.
Aloha, welcome to Think Tech Hawaii. My name is Josh Green. I'm the host of a program called Healthcare in Hawaii. I'm a physician. I work in the emergency department on the Big Island. I also serve in the state senate, which, please don't hold that against me, doesn't detract from my television program. We speak about all the big healthcare issues in the state. We get together on Tuesdays from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we try to talk about the most important issues in healthcare. This is a terrific venue for people to learn about healthcare. There are many programs on this station. We broadcast it later, not just on the internet, but also on OC16. Thanks for joining us. Please be informed healthcare consumers.
Aloha and welcome back to the Hawaii Food and Farmer Series. I'm your co-host, Justine Spiritu.
And I'm also your co-host, Matthew Johnson. And today we have with us Steve Phillips from Local Harvest from the island of Maui. Steve, thank you so much.
I'm glad to be here.
So we're just kind of talking about the business and how you got it started and working with farms and connecting them with different markets. You brought up a great thing over the break. Why is this work that you're doing so important? Why is buying local, first of all, why are the markets that you're working with looking for it? And why is that a good thing?
Well, I see 3 reasons why local food is important, 3 primary reasons. One, food security. We're the most remote landmass on the planet out here, you know, and there's some craziness going on in the world these days.
Yeah.
So who knows if the boat might not be able to come in, or the plane might not be able to bring us
Right.
food sometime. So it's important to be able to have our own food supply. And right now, we only have about 15% of our own food growing on the island. And if we ran out, couldn't get food in from the other
Yeah.
mainland, we'd probably have a week or possibly 2 weeks of food available.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's probably more like 2 days, because once people timed out,
Yeah,
They're
once
gonna
they
hoard it
realize-
all.
the stores are going to be empty.
Yeah.
That happens when there's a tsunami warning, you know,
Yeah.
everything is gone.
Well, quick thing before you move on from that, what would you say, is there a particular percentage or number that you kind of have as a goal in your head of what being food secure would be for Maui or Hawaii?
That's a good question. I would say at least 80%.
80%. So kind of just flipped around, really.
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that people are going to want that we'll never be able to provide here.
Right, right,
Mhm.
right.
And the second reason is, well, I'll say nutrition, freshness of the food. You know, when you get it right here, you know, within a day, it's from the farm to the customer.
Right.
You know? Or maybe 2 days for bananas and avocados. And then the other one is economy, local economy. I mean, there doesn't have to be any problem with the local economy or any unemployment.
Yeah.
There's plenty of work to do here, especially if we're doing our own food supply.
Yeah.
You know, not only the farming, but the production, you know, the value-added products, the distribution, the buying and selling, everything, you know. It can provide thousands of jobs. So those are the reasons.
No, it's great.
I think on that note too, what's unique about what you do and what I've seen with Oahu Fresh, since you guys are these distributors working with a number of different farmers or producers and different manufacturers or value-added folks, there's like lots of synergies that can happen just based on the work you guys do with different producers. Is there any examples of different farmers or manufacturers that met through you and your kind of network from being all over the place with all the farmers? And new kind of maybe ventures happening or new products springing up from your network?
Well, we have a lot of new products springing up in our business.
Oh, yeah,
and-
talk a
and
little
we
bit about
use-
those products.
We use products from the farms
Okay.
to make that. But also, from your question, you know, we haven't had as much time as we'd like to put people together, you know, the buyers and the farmers. We've talked about doing a conference or a convention or something where we bring all those people together, you know. But we do tell the customers, like the restaurants, where their product comes from, and we're coordinating some tours now from the chefs going out to the farms. So we're trying to pull that together a little more.
It kind of sounds like we had the North Shore Community Land Trust, and they put on the Food Summit here on Oahu. They've had 3 now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. We'll have to do something like that.
Yeah.
I'll ask you some questions about that later. But as far as our products,
Yeah.
you know, we do 3 primary product lines. One is cultured macadamia nut spreads,
Oh, wow.
and we have 4 varieties. And they're unique in that they're vegan, for one, and they utilize all the 5 flavors. You know, there's sweet, salty, sour, spicy, and bitter.
Okay.
And I've done a lot of work with that over my past being in the raw food movement.
Okay.
So we experiment with all the flavors. And when you use all the flavors, then it tones up all the organs in your body, all the organ systems in your body. It relates to Ayurveda and Chinese herbal medicine, that kind of thing. So we do that, and the flavors are incredible.
Oh.
And is it all the products or the ingredients of that sourced from your network of farmers?
80%, sometimes 90%, depending on the product. Yep. The mac nuts we get on Maui, and all the produce, and some of the spices we have to bring in because we don't have them here. But the product line is called Sattvic Kitchen. So Sattvic means it's a certain type of food in Ayurveda
Okay.
that's good for the mind and the body and the spirit, and it's abundant in life force. So that's what we call ourselves. We also have a line of salad dressings, 3 different varieties, that uses the cultured mac nuts on a
Okay.
smaller percentage, and olive oil and all the good ingredients. There's no junk, no fillers or binders or any of those things.
Right.
All natural. And then we have a line of juices
Okay.
that they all are based in honey, lemon, and ginger. And then we add different fruit flavors depending on what's in season. Strawberry, pineapple. The other day we made a jabuticaba juice. It's kind
yeah.
of Brazilian grape, it's called.
Huh.
And sometimes we do soursop or whatever fruit there is.
And that's all the
Yeah.
same product line, Satvik?
Yeah, all Sattvic Kitchen. We also package our own honeys.
Okay.
Currently, we get from a farm on the Big Island, and we have different sizes. But we also do small jars that are infused with essential oils. So there's different flavors: peppermint, orange, lemon, and eucalyptus
Oh,
honey.
wow.
Something really unique.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so how are you actually making these products? Obviously you're working with a kitchen. Do you have a processing area as part of your operation?
Yeah, in our warehouse, we have a 2,000 square foot warehouse, and we have a small kitchen in there. And we brought in we have all our equipment, the juicers, we have a 45 quart mixer, stainless steel, and food processors, Vitamixes,
Yeah.
whatever we need to put it all together.
Are
We have a
these-
great kitchen manager.
Do
that-
you have, is your kitchen open for public use as well? Could people, smaller producers, rent the space to make their own products?
We just started renting to one small producer who's
Okay.
making things for the farmer's market. But we don't have a lot of time and space for that at this
You
point.
sound a little
because
busy
it's so
over
small.
here.
And we're starting to use our kitchen more and more
Uh-huh.
as our product line grows and
Yeah.
the volume grows. But maybe a little bit here and there, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But we're starting another certified kitchen on the west side,
Oh, wow.
which should be up and going in a month or 2.
Okay.
So-
For your own use or for
and-
the idea of renting it out? Or,
We'll see. I mean, for our own use, but we may have some people that want to use it as well, especially people that are selling at our farmers market and need a certified kitchen to make
Yeah.
their product,
And do you see processing, how do you see processing moving forward? When you're talking about where you want to see 80% of the local food, coming from Maui and the rest of the islands. How do you see processing playing a part of that?
A long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it can happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a challenge doing processing on the island because the bottles aren't made here, the packaging's not made here.
Yeah.
You got to bring stuff in. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be some either subsidies to help people get started with those kind of small businesses and grow, or there needs to be some extra charges for bringing it in from the mainland. Because we need some leveling of the playing field.
Right.
If we're trying to compete with huge companies on the mainland that ship it over, and we're on a small scale, it's more expensive.
Yeah.
Something, one of our packages, we pay like $1.25 or so for labor just to
put it all
just
together.
to make it and put it together.
Yeah.
Where maybe they'll spend like 10 or 15 cents, on
Yeah.
a large production line.
so
it's-
what's
there's
the
a
first
difference.
step to making that kind of change?
Well, I mean, we just did it, But you
Or
could
to-
just
I mean,
do it,
the
or
idea
you
of,
I like that.
um,
you could
Just
try
go
to
out and do it.
You could try to get help from the government.
I mean, yeah,
You're gonna
should
be
we
waiting-
write a bill or
You're
something?
going to be waiting for a while, but yeah, write a bill.
I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about subsidies or something on that kind of level, I'm just curious of, what are the steps to do it? If it's really something achievable, if it's just
Yeah.
this thing that then, it's too hard or something, or
Right.
is it something we could
I think the other thing that we started talking about was cooperatives.
Uh-huh.
If we could have producer cooperatives.
the
where
idea of then getting
people
those
bring
supplies
in
cheaper?
Yeah, bringing the supplies together.
Yeah.
The cartons or the bottles or some of the ingredients or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Just join together.
Mhm.
And
So let's talk a little bit about, recently there's been a lot of changes, especially on Maui with agriculture, with the last sugar plantation going through the process of shutting down. And we also heard like Richard Hall on the Big Island shutting down his operations because his long-range prospects he's seen with energy costs still being very difficult for the farms. So with the position you're in and kind of seeing the landscape of what's happening on Maui, what are your thoughts for just local ag in general moving forward?
Well, I have good thoughts about it. It is moving forward, you know, step by step, and we get a new farmer coming to us every month saying that, hey, I'm starting farming, you know, how can we work together? So the interest is there, and there might be a ton more land available, but we'll have to see how that whole thing plays out. Nobody knows yet. But there is an organic farming initiative that's being started on Maui, where they need to get like 10,000 signatures by April 15th as the first stage in order to get this on the ballot in November. But the idea is that that land from the sugarcane, 36,000 acres, would become eminent domain. And it would have to be purchased at fair market value, which that money would have to be raised to do that. And then it would be turned into diversified agriculture land.
Oh, wow.
Organic, preferably.
So this is just a movement that just sprung up out of that closing.
Yeah,
just super
like
recently.
a month ago. Yeah.
Okay, but I imagine the current landowner wouldn't be too happy about that. I mean, how does that play with the current landowner?
I don't know. But
we'll have to have them on the show.
Is his signature going to be on that?
But I mean, if he sold it, he'll get a ton of money. You know.
Yeah.
He'll have nothing to worry about for the rest of his life, I'm sure. Actually, it's not. I don't know. I guess it's a corporation. A&B.
Was it A&B? Oh,
Yeah.
Alexander and Baldwin.
Yeah.
They can get money, and so far what they've been doing is not making money. It's costing them a lot of money.
Right.
Losing millions of dollars.
Great. So we're going to ask them to be on our next show, and we'll bring you back to co-host, and we'll start that conversation with them. So actually, so we've reached the end of the episode. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so interesting to hear what's going on in Maui and hear all the work you've been doing. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks so much for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome.
You're watching Think Tech Hawaii, citizen journalism from Hawaii, finding the intersection of our sense of place and our place in the world, right here at home. Great content for Hawaii from Think Tech.
You're watching Think Tech on thinktechhawaii.com, which broadcasts 5 live talk shows from noon to 5 p.m. every weekday, and then streams our earlier shows all night long. Great content for Hawaii from Think Tech.